couldn't understand what I was saying. I would say stuff like, See, my mom was a big fan of the do this or do that method. I don't know if your parents have done this, but she'd say, oh, Shawn, would you like to take out the trash? She was asking a question. She was engaging the audience. And I go, no. And then she came back with another audience engaging question. You can either take out the trash, or you can live somewhere else. That trash doesn't sound so bad now when you put the context. But I tended to mumble a lot. But thankfully, I took theater in high school, and I had a teacher named Mr. Hughes. And he said that if you want to articulate properly, your mouth should hurt by the time you're done speaking. And from that day forward, I have slowly lost my ability to articulate, and I go back to mumbling quite often. So, humorous injection. First of all, round of applause. Sorry. Doggone it, let me tell you, after the first few guests stood up and they got 2 rounds, I'm like, 2 rounds during a guest introduction? I'm doing this. Show of hands, who is competing in the humorous contest this year? Whoa, wait, easy, not all at once. Not all at 1, 2, 3 and a half. Oh, we'll give you a half, Toby. Okay, how many of you can either compete in the humorous contest or you can find somewhere else to live? Hey, look at that! Mom comes through again with the motivation. Now, for someone who did not raise their hand, who expressly does not want to enter the contest, and is not a district governor, or is not a district official or elected official, they cannot compete, please give me one good reason why you're not competing. One good reason. I'll call you out. I'll call you out.
I did. I raised my hand.
Oh, you're competing?
If I have to choose.
Between competing? She's smart, I like it. Now, if you have to choose, you're going to compete. But since I really can't evict you because I don't own wherever you live, or do I? No, I don't. Why are you electing not to compete? Oh, that great reason.
No, I feel like there's so many comedies here. I feel like I don't have too much humor cells in my brain compared to those people. So I'm afraid of my loss.
Oh, Sherry. Oh, Sherry. You're one. First of all, I understood half of what you said. I think it's beautiful. No. First of all, no, I love it. I think that is a specific reason to enjoy it. Now, I just heard this great speaker, kind of a blowhard, Toby Martini. Have you heard of him? Had a great lesson. He said the first thing you do is speak it. It's a whole kind of that metaphysical manifestation where you think about it, you picture it, you say it, you do it, and hopefully you don't get locked up. Good. Now see, what you said the first thing was I'm not a comedian. There are other comedians, and you said something about a library. What was that last part?
No, I would just say I don't have too much humor cells in my brain, so.
Oh, humor sells. I thought you said sales. I was like, you don't have to sell humor. I mean, it's free. But all right, so you don't have humor cells. Well, today you're going to get a humorous injection. Nice, a little camping. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, you need a transfusion. I don't know if I brought enough CCs. That's all I'm saying. That's right. Now, how many thought I intended to do that joke? You, sir, are... I got some oceanfront property in Montana. So. First of all, first lesson I can tell you about humor in the Toastmaster world, and really in every world, and I'll come back to this theme over and over and over, and I want to make this the first point, and we're going to beat it to death. Have a point. I dated a girl in high school for a very brief time. Very brief time. And this girl thought it would be very funny to break up with me on April Fool's Day. I didn't find it funny. I spent all day moping, looking at myself, doubting, questioning. I wrote like 4 or 5 poems, like, oh, woe is me. not dawning on me that it's April 1st and she's kind of an airhead. But what I learned from her, after we broke up very quickly, is there's always truth in jest. The funniest things have an element of truth, and usually a very biting or insightful element of truth. Think about the things you've laughed about. When do we normally laugh? Can anybody tell me why we laugh?
Feel better.
Feel better. That is one of the benefits of laughing, yes. Why do we laugh?
We usually release nervous energy.
Release nervous energy. I like that. That's good. Coming from the transfusion lady. Very nice. Why do we laugh?
So we don't cry.
So we don't cry. Oh, I like that. No, that's good. I'm going to come back to that and beat that to death. Yes.
When I get surprised.
Surprise! That's the word I was going for. I love it. Thank you. She's attended 5 of my workshops. Great. See, once you attend like 2 or 3, you just sit the rest there. It's on autopilot. The reason we laugh is we are surprised. Think of it as a baby. The reason a baby first laughs is because they are shocked. Everything is new. You know, I was born where it was dark and wet and naked, and things just got worse from there. But we're surprised. Everything surprises us. And our initial reaction is one of fear. We step back. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know what's going on here. You know, if suddenly a man in a banana suit ran in the front door, our first reaction would be like, this is probably, well, I don't know if it's exactly, more like, banana man! and it would be one of surprise and one of shock, but then when we understood that there's no danger involved, then we can laugh about it. So laughter is our reaction to surprise minus the danger. Now, if you've ever heard the old formula that tragedy plus time equals comedy, and that's really going back to that survival method, is that something really awful happens. And at that moment, it feels like you can't survive, you can't go on. But the more time and the more distance you have between that event and now, you start to laugh about it. There's a banana man ran into that Advanced Articulators Club. And I'll tell you about that in a second. That was fun too. Did anybody catch that? What did I do there?
Call back to
Callback! He's seen 12 of my episodes. Great, Rick. But that's okay. I've heard that speech over 100 times. I love messing with Rick. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you a funny story about Rick because I only planned about 15 minutes of injections, and Mr. Hamlin had a lot more faith in me than I did. Thing about Rick, the reason I call him the devil, and I want to get him a jersey, the reason I call him the devil is never get drunk with this man. And for the most part, never drink around this man. Now Rick's not a big drinker, and I realized this at a Toastmasters conference where I was 6 or 7 sheets to the wind. I was pretty bummed about. I did lose. I lost that one convention. I was really bummed about, and I was taking it out with some alcoholic therapy. And as I was just about ready to pass out, he asked me if I wanted to be area governor. And apparently in the morning, I remembered, or he reminded me that I said yes. I didn't remember it at the time. That was kind of weird. I was like, sorry, I had to mess with Rick. You never mess up a good opportunity. But here's the thing. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And the reason it's so funny is because it's true. Now, I can make up stories left and right, but if they're about Rick Furbish, they're probably true. Probably true. But see, that's the beauty of it, is the more truth you inject. And that's what I really want to enforce, and what I'm really going to come back to you over and over and over, Sherry, because I really want you to. If we can convince Sherry to do this contest, have we accomplished something today?
Yes.
No
pressure.
Last year.
Good.
What was the title of your speech?
What was the title?
Lost in translation.
Yes.
It was
Lost in translation. And there was a lot of truth to that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of translations. I didn't see it, but it sounds wonderful. I must see it. So that's good. So we're going to do it again this year. Now, how do we make a funny speech? Biggest thing people come to me, biggest request from Toastmasters, I'm not funny, I'm not funny. And again, go back to that guy, what was his name? Toby Martini. Toby Martini reminded us that the first thing we need to do is change our thinking. And as my mom's pastor would say, our stinking thinking. And he says it in a really cute southern accent, like, no, you change your stinking thinking. And that's what I love, and that's what it is, truly, is people go, I'm not funny, I'm not funny. Well, yeah, you're right, good job. I'm funny. Why are you bothering me? I can't force you to be funny. Really, you have to embrace a certain element, And what you should embrace the fact that you got past it. Think about the hardest moment you've had this year. You don't even have to go past over the last 40 years that I've had. I'm 37, dealing with the age thing. Just think of this year. What's the hardest thing you've had to do this year? Do you have it? Do you have the hardest thing you've done this year? You're here, aren't you? You got past it? I mean, have you taken a moment to reflect on that? And just like, wow, I got through blank. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's a separation, you lost your job, lost your house, lost your car. Lost your kitty? What? Lost your olive. And by the way, Mr. Martini, we all notice you're wearing the classic Fat Man shirt, and you're a skinny guy, so we'll have that back up. Yes, he's in transition. Wider the stripes, the skinnier I look. Where was I? Where was I going?
Something happened this year.
Something happened this year. So think back this year. Think about the hardest thing. Now you got past it. Now, when you think of that relief, does it bring a little smile to your face? A little bit? Now, what if you were to transfer that joy of getting past it to your audience? The 2 times I won the district competition, and really they say it's international, but international is really humor with a stronger message. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you right now. And the higher the speeches go, very seldom will you ever see a speech hit the... I went to international conference last August in Las Vegas. Amazing experience. Went over by 6 seconds. Thank you very much. Self-disqualified, yes. Yes, thank you very much. I know all, but I'm here. And I got past it. And in another 4 or 5 years in therapy, I'll be able to laugh about it. Another 4... Yeah, so... But every speech I saw on that stage, and I saw 90 speeches, and that was one of 3 stages, every one of them had an element of humor. The reason we use humor is because it disarms your crowd. Last Friday I had a wonderful chance to speak to a software company in Tampa, right around the corner. And let me tell you, software programmers, they're lively. Oh man, oh man. In fact, in my home club of Raymond James, we could guarantee we didn't even need a vice president of membership, because every year our IT department had their annual reviews, and every year we had 35 new people join our club with a 1-year requirement by their boss to complete and come to interpersonal communication. So as you can imagine, I walk in on this very small company, and there's like 12 or 14 people there, and the owner of this company from Denmark is there. And I'm going, wow, I know this much about Denmark. And of course, you know, I did my proper research. So I walk in there, and the guy's like, okay, thank you very much, come on in. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. I'm supposed to entertain and make these people laugh for an hour. So I look at the boss, and the boss gives me one of those looks. You ever had somebody like steal food from in front of you? Okay, no other fat people in the room. Okay, good. Let's see, what does skinny people understand? What does skinny people... You ever have somebody snatch the vegetable out of your salad? You ever had that? Do you eat salads? Okay, good. You're a man. Cookie? Cupcake? Cookies. Beer. Cookies. Beer. Glass of wine. Don't leave her hanging. That's right. Don't leave the new district governor hanging. You can always drop names. Okay. So if you've ever had somebody snatch something from, I mean, this guy literally eyeballed me from the moment I walked into that room until the moment I left, and I'm going, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. So I started cracking a couple jokes. I was like, hey everybody, glad I could be here. Wow, well, lively room, you know, just. And I had one like secretary laugh, and I was like, oh, thank God, I have a friend. So like every time I saw her like perk up or pay attention or anything, it was good. So about halfway through the meeting, I mean, he's really like eyeballing me. So what do? I call him out on it. Absolutely call him out on it. It's the most effective technique, but it's a little risky. It failed miserably. But guess what? It didn't, and I'm here. But the beautiful thing is that I just called him and I was like, you're looking at me like I snatched the, I don't know, mark out of your den. I don't know. I don't. And he kept looking, and that moment, he honestly looked at everybody in his company. Everybody in his company kind of had a snicker. They were like, hey, oh, we should check the boss. And they look at him, and he's like, And that right there, done. I was sold, I was in, everybody was happy. It was amazing. I disarmed the beast. And then, it was just astounding. So for the next half hour, I made fun of him. And it was just amazing. Every time I did something, I was like, wow, and all he's thinking is, man, this is a waste of overhead. This is great. But the beautiful thing is it disarms your crowd. Now, when you walk up in front of that stage, Sherry, when you get on that competition stage in front of Advanced Articulators, competing at the club level first, yeah? Again? All right. I want you to do a meter. And this is Sherry does it, and this is no way. How are we doing on the meter?
Close that way.
Closer to this way? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing it? All right, we're getting closer. That is good. I feel accomplished. Now, when you first walk up, you have that feeling. A good friend of mine, Heather Ballmer, said, the reason that speakers are so terrified is because all of you are looking at me. In nature, I would be lunch. I mean, think about it. If you had 50 other animals looking at you at one time, you're not the lion. You're the zebra. God gave you big, thick thighs to run. Run fast. And that's what it is. And you immediately have that survival technique like, oh, you're going to stare right through me, you're going to kill me. If you can do a joke, what you're doing is you're disarming the crowd. But the reason you're doing that is because you're showing common mental thought. Think of the last time you had an awkward moment. My favorite word in the world is awkward. And if you take nothing other than the message, use the word awkward this week. And I want you to say it in a very specific manner. Awkward. Kind of like a doorbell. Awkward. Yeah, just everybody try it. Awkward. All right, good. Now, this is the time to use it. All right, you're in the bank. You're waiting for your... No, who goes to the bank anymore? All right, you're in the post office. Oh, you go to the bank. Where do we wait? Oh, you're at Starbucks. Okay.
Yes.
You're at Starbucks. All right. So everybody's doing the coffee, and everybody's and somebody is sitting at. I really hate to use slang now. Someone flatulates. Someone flatulates mightily. And in their mighty flatulation, everybody's looking, and it'll happen. And you've been in that moment before where everybody's kind of like, what do we do? What do we do? We're kind of, we're ants in a line, and somebody's like, cut the line, and we're like, what do we do? At that moment, you go, awkward. Guarantee everybody, including the mighty flatulator, will laugh. Will laugh. I was a very lonely kid, and I had a dictionary, so I know all the dirty words in the dictionary. Where's I going with that? Oh yeah, awkward. So I just want you to try this week. And what you're doing is you're simply saying, look, we're all thinking it, I'm gonna say it. That's truly what comedy is. You are racing everyone in the room to a common thought. Now, I want to bring up some wonderful examples tonight because I want to put this into practice. And I want to hear some of your examples as well. Our presenter tonight, Mr. Hamlin, yes, had a wonderful, let's see here, wonderful one early, and I had to write it down. Oh yes, he was talking about dedicating Sundays. He's like, I work very hard all week, and I sell medical equipment, and Sundays are reserved for baseball, and cooking, and eating, and the almond woman. Now it was funny because he structured it that way, and then he realized it was funny, and he said, but not necessarily in that order. Now that's good, that's accidental, and was that intended? The second quip, or?
So actually the whole thing was not intended.
All right, good job! Yes, awesome! I'm white, I have to practice my high fives. Moving on. Now, if it were planned, this is how I would make it a little bit different. I think it's great that you had that accidental moment, and I think you were rewarded in kind. How do we make it a little bit funnier? We make it funnier by making the examples more drastic. So it's like Sundays are reserved for baseball and cooking and eating and sleeping and napping and...
Lunch.
Oh yes, the love of my life. A snapback. And it was funny because you bring up the word dynamic and fluid today. Dynamic is such a powerful word in comedy because your strongest laughs are when you snap the crowd back and forth. During my speech contest in 2010, I told a story about my father passing. And it broke the heart of the audience. And there I am, standing on stage, 300 people looking at me like, and I let them stew in it. Oh. I know this is terrible, but you'll get there. You'll get there. This is what advanced articulators are. Advanced manipulators is more like dance, you know, my puppets. But always keep the poker face. Don't let it out. Don't let the poker face out. So there they are stewing, and they're just sobbing, and the tears are running. And then I look, and then I tell a funny story about my dad. And the moment I hit the funny story about my dad, all the crowd went, "Oh my word, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through." Because remember, as a speaker, you are taking your entire crowd on a journey with you. As she said, vivid imagery, color words. You are pulling the crowd. Doesn't matter where you are. I want you to lose sense of yourselves. Come with me on a journey. And as we go on this journey together, I'm going to take you through dynamics. It's the change. And think about surprise. Oh man, that's terrible. You know, you lost someone in your life. That's horrible. How can you get past that? How can you go past that? When you were born, your parents should be forever. They were here before you. No sense in the world that they should leave before you do. And then you wake up one day and one of them's not there. And there you are, alone in the world. Down. Hey, look at dance. Oh, come on, Bet, don't do it. Oh, come on, hold on, Bet. Oh, oh man. I feel really bad now. There's no snapback. I'm just gonna leave you down. Just, no, but it's dynamics. It's truly dynamics. You take the top, you go down, and you bring it up. Now, you don't always have to go so low. You can keep it up. But the thing is that when you're making a humorous speech, don't try to be funny. I started comedy 5 years ago, and every time I sat down to try